the ceremony of this auspicious event. I call it an auspicious event because we are all gathered here as key players to, do whatever is possible so we could, at the end of the day, have an HIV and AIDS free nation. Isn't that our aim? Is that not what we want to see? An HIV free Nigeria. I'm passionate about this because some years back, I was a youth like some of you here. The youth of my generation were really, really at risk, and I lost many friends. I lost many friends because they didn't have the opportunities you have as youths of today. I lost classmates. I lost neighbors. Today, we have you positive youths on ground, the face of hope. You are the faces of hope. That's change that we now see. And we believe that more could be seen. We have seen the paradigm shift from what obtained when I was a youth to what obtains today. Can you give yourself a round of applause for that? Tomorrow will be better. Did I hear say amen to that? Okay, thank you. So let's quickly proceed. We're still awaiting some dignitaries. But while we await their arrival, we'll have to kickstart the event so we could accommodate as much as possible within the time we have. So I would like to start with why we are gathered here today. Why are we gathered here today? We are here for the 2024 HIV Prevention National Conference. And I'm really delighted that the youth population has been made an integral component of this important event. It's a promise of hope because if our youths do not get it right, it will be difficult to make the sort of achievement we would like to see in halting new infections. Let me tell you a story of my experience. By the way, I'm a decorated HIV and AIDS media ambassador some years back. Thank you. Thank you. So, like I said, in the early 90s, I lost a lot of friends. And that's why when I eventually found myself in the media, when I joined the NTA, I just, made that resolve. I said, yeah, because I was hearing, prevention. In those days, they said, you know, a lot of messages. I don't know what have happened now, but I look forward to you positive youths still coming out with messages, that you can readily connect with, especially when your generation, contemporary time is concerned. Then we're familiar with the Z-pop slogan, abstinence, ABC, and all of that. Condomize. Condom is still very much, part of our prevention strategies. But let me share a story with you. So when I joined NTA, and I was a cub reporter then, so I was sent to go and cover an HIV-related assignment. Then it was the late Professor Babatunde Oshotimehin of blessed memory, the pioneer Director General of NACA. So I covered this event and I just put my heart to it. I had to take it from the human angle. The human angle had to do with the fact that people should not hold back when it comes to knowing their status because there are informed choices to make. And you know what I did? Each time I remember that. But somehow it did some positives for me. What did I do? We had a news bulletin then called News Eyewitness News. And for those of you who remembered Gede Foundation, owned by Jamila Atiku, that's the former vice president, Gede Foundation. So the event I had was at Gede Foundation. You know what I did? I said, well, I'm going to get adventurous today. And that was what I did. So I just went and I said, I want to know my HIV status. So I did it live on air and held my breath while waiting for the result. The result was finally given on air, and it turned out to be negative. So, but what was my comment? I said, well, it didn't matter if it had turned out positive because there are informed choices for me to make. Treatment was available then, and I said, so if the fact that my result turned out negative means I need to keep doing the things that allow me to maintain that status. And if it had been positive, of course, the choices to be made are there on what I could do to, make sure that I keep living a healthy life because HIV and AIDS, as you all know, is not a death sentence. We know it is not a death sentence. So what happened? I did that. 2 days later, I got a call. I don't know if any of you remember those early staff of NACA, Dr. Atta and Co. Somebody called me and said, the DG wishes to see you. And when I got there, he said, wow. He said, Robbie, you won't believe it. He told me about how the uptake in voluntary testing and counseling just went up within 2 days. People watched that story. And I felt happy. I felt I had done something. So that was how I became an advocate in this important life-saving, effort. And I haven't looked back then. I don't have a degree in any of those, but some people call me quack HIV expert. So thank you so much. Um, Without taking much of your time while we still await the dignitaries, um, I'll just make a few recognition of the dignitaries who are already here. It's good to be punctual in whatever you do because time is of essence. I've seen some have taken their seats already, so we just proceed with the introduction. Seated here. Oh, no, for recognition. And how about this? Talk about love, talk about forever, baby. Talk about. Like I said earlier on, I'm going to quickly make a a few recognitions of dignitaries already seated while we await others that I believe are still on their way to this important conference. I can see in front of me, immaculately dressed in white, the chairman has committee on AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria, Honorable Godwin Amobi. A round of applause for him, please. Oh. Is that applause enough? These are the legislators that will push your pews and everything. I would like to recognize well, a lot of names I'm having here, but I can see I can see those people on seats. So I'll just go ahead and recognize the people I can see. Um, we have the UNAIDS country director, Dr. Leo Zekeng. A round of applause for him, please. We also have in our midst a very important figure in this crusade. Abdulkadir, are you still a youth? Are you still a youth, the NAPCON president? Okay, so we have also in our midst the president of our network of people living with HIV in Nigeria, NAP1, Mr. Abdulkadir Ibrahim. Please put your hands together for him. We also have the National Coordinator, National HIV and AIDS and Hepatitis and STI Control Program, Dr. Basharun Adebobola. You're welcome. We have the PEPFAR coordinator for Nigeria, is Fumi Adesonya. Please put your hands together for her. I can see our elegant and beautiful chief host, the Director General of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, Dr. Temitope Ilobi. You, you know, we have a woman at the helm of affairs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but she has the record of being the first state coordinator to emerge as Director General of NACA. Give her a resounding round of applause for that feat. Thank you, madam, and congratulations. Moving on, before me, I have the chairman, Association of SACAs in Nigeria, Dr. Adebolu Adedayo. Please, a round of applause for him. If we have the representative of the Global Fund country team, Dr. John Thomas, please, let's recognize him. You're welcome. I had recognized the NAP1 chairman earlier on. Still standing on that recognition, I would like to recognize the Ashwan National Coordinator, Mrs. Esther Hindi. Ashwan is the umbrella body of women living with HIV in Nigeria. Mothers are critical key players in seeing to an HIV-free generation. So please, whatever support mothers need, whether as young mothers, whether as young female youths, or as wives, mothers, please do not hesitate to support them if you really, really want us to achieve that. Welcome, madam. So moving on, we also have from the key population, from APIN. From APIN, we have Aaron. Aaron, I'm referring to Aaron because I came across Aaron's story, and it got to me. I read Aaron's story because of conducting research, and it's just a profound story. So a round of applause for Aaron, the AP National Coordinator. This is about the youths. They are at the center of why we are here today. From the Key Population Secretariat, I was told that the National Coordinator is unavoidably absent. Chris Staffer is ably represented here by Fine Ekejuba. A round of applause for him, please. You're welcome. So on my list, I also have the Chief Executive Officer of NIPOST, Tola Odeyemi. Please put your hands together for him. So we'll go ahead with more recognition as those to be recognized arrive. I had recognized the Global Fund country team, Dr. John Thomas earlier on. I want to believe that the executive secretary of the Global Fund country coordinating mechanism is with us, Mr. Tajuddin. Oh, I didn't even know. My own friend and brother. It's good to have you with us. So I'll quickly just. Oh, okay. So please, let's get our acts together as we are formally starting this important event. I'm going to call for the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in a few seconds. So please prepare for that. We need to allow the media to set up properly. If you want clear sound, clear pictures, we need to give time to set up. Oh, go to health. Internal health. Okay. Should I write it? No, no, please hold on. I have just been informed that the representative of the Honorable Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tuji Alausa, is here and is unavoidably absent, but he is ably represented by Dr. Atuo MNI. A round of applause for him, please. So let's please all get on our feet as we sing the nation's national anthem after the count of three. 3, 2, 1, go. Please remain standing as we take the second stanza of the national anthem, which is the country's national prayer. After the count of three, 3, 2, 1, go. Do please sit down. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and we give the Almighty praises and gratitude for counting us among those who are alive up to this moment and enabling us to be part of this. We are gathered here for a very important cause. It is the 2024 Nigeria HIV Prevention Youth Conference being hosted by the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA. The conference, which has as theme accelerating HIV prevention to end AIDS through innovations and community engagement, aims to optimize HIV prevention approaches and promote inclusivity. It's not only that, an integral component of the 3-day conference dedicated to youths has as theme adolescents and young people as change agents. Wow, awesome. I love the theme. And together, we're going to do this in the next few days, today, tomorrow, that is left. We hope to achieve a lot. But before then, let me quickly um, give some just a brief background to the country's HIV situation where the youth population is concerned. You know, according to the National HIV and AIDS Indicator and Impact Survey, approximately 240,000 young people aged between 15 and 24 were living with HIV in Nigeria in 2018. The virus killed 441,830 in 2019, while a total of 100,000 new infections, were recorded. And, if you look at the national statistics, which says that 1.8 million people in the country are living with HIV and AIDS. We have the results of that survey that was conducted, by NACA. So that's where we have all that, or we got all that from. Let me quickly take you through the HIV prevention program in the country. Uh, the ones we have focuses on prevention of mother-to-child transmission, voluntary medical male circumcision, social and behavior change communication, male and female condoms, post-exposure prophylaxis, that's PEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, that's a daily pill that is available for, that's the pre-exposure prophylaxis. However, we learned that there's a vaginal ring and injections that are yet to be approved. We look forward to when they will be approved. But without taking much of your time, that vividly gives you an insight into where we are at the moment. Yeah. So that's where we are. With that little preamble, we set the ball rolling. We are somehow behind schedule, so I would like to quickly invite to the podium the Director General of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, Dr. Temitope Ilori, for her welcome remark. You know what happens when women hold sway, so keep clapping. Expect results, results, results. Thank you, ma'am. Talk about
Wow. Good morning, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure to welcome you all to this auditorium. I'm so overwhelmed by the active participation. I, well, let me, one, express the sincere apologies from the Honorable Minister for State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa, who called me as early as 6 a.m. this morning to profusely apologize. He actually got a call from the presidency this morning and was told to represent the president at a function at Adamawa. Hence, he could not attend. He called around to find out, and he was successful to get Dr. David Atuwo to stand in for him. Thank you so much, Dr. David, for representing the minister. On that note, I have the singular honor to welcome you to the 2024 Nigeria Prevention Conference on behalf of the Honorable Minister for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa. I also bring you good and warm greetings from the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Patel. I see in the crowd our own big supporter, who actually gave us a very generous seed grant to start and plan this conference, Dr. Leo Zenge, UNAIDS Country Director. I also see our own Miss Fumi, Dr. Fumi Adesanya, who is the coordinator for PEPFAR. Thank you so much. She's always looking very elegant. So today I actually took time to also look at myself in the mirror and put on some powder so that soon you will not look more beautiful than I am. I thank Dr. John Thomas, the country lead for Global Fund. Thank you so much for your support for the HIV mandate. Um, of course, my budget will not be passed next year. I don't breach protocol in the audience, and who came very early is our chair, the chair HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, Honorable Dr. Godwin Amobi. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. I also want to appreciate um, the SACA chairman, ably representing all SACAs. I've seen some SACAs, executive director, director generals. We appreciate the SACA chairman, Dr. Adebolu, for coming. I appreciate, of course, our Global Fund coordinating chair, Dr. Tajuddin. Thank you for coming. And of course, I appreciate the NAFSCAP team, ably led by our own Otumba. Uh, if I don't even know his real name again, we all call him Otumba Otumba, for gracing the occasion. And of course, our community. I represent my fellow youth. We are all youth, Ibrahim Abdulkabi. Ibrahim, thank you. Nepwan, of course, Ashwan, Esther, thank you for coming. Where is the APIN chair? What's his name again? Aaron Sunday. Where is he? Aaron, representing the youth living with HIV. Thank you so much. And of course, if you're all government functionaries, honorable commissioners in the House, director generals in the House, executive secretaries in the House, of course, I cannot but recognize. I know there's a powerful team that came from South Africa, though I don't have their names there. But thank you so much for gracing this occasion. May you stand up for recognition and wave your hands? The delegation from South Africa. Thank you. Thank you. Of course, I cannot end this by appreciating the directors in NACA. I will say my directors, particularly Dr. James Anene. Please, can you stand up for recognition, directors in NACA? Stand up for recognition. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for putting this together. And finally, but not the least, if you are a youth, all youth in the building, can you just stand up and say, what do we say now? Shout out from the youth, say youth. Dr. Anini, you are not a youth, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. And of course, all members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This gathering marks a significant milestone in our collective efforts to combat HIV/AIDS in Nigeria. Since the last conference that was held in 2016, notable progress has been made shaping our response and strategies to address the HIV/AIDS epidemic in our country. I extend heartfelt appreciation to all our partners who have supported us in this race. I've mentioned some names, but just to say that it is a testament to the power of collaboration and shared commitment towards a common goal. Special thanks to PEFA team for their support in providing this venue and facilitating the youth conference. PEFA actually sponsored over 150 youths across Nigeria to attend this conference today. We appreciate them. You know, of course, I've appreciated UNAIDS for their generous seed grants to start this, visionary conference. And of course, I must but appreciate even the Commander-in-Chief and the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for creating the enabling environment and for supporting us even with funds, locally in making this a reality. The theme for this year is accelerating prevention to end AIDS through innovations and community engagement. And this underscores the importance of community involvement in shaping effective prevention strategies, which while ensuring access to health for those living with HIV/AIDS. In the time between the last conference and now, We have implemented various strategies, some of which were highlighted by our own ambassador, the presenter, that has been anchoring the program. Various strategies such as the combination prevention therapy, HIV self-testing, harm reduction initiative, treatment as prevention, and the re-evaluation of Nigeria's HIV epidemic through the Nigeria HIV Indicator and Impact Survey, which held in 2018, among others. However, despite our achievements, our work is far from over. We must redouble our efforts to prevent mother-to-child transmission and strive for an AIDS-free generation by 2030, leveraging on the advancements in health technology at our disposal. Prevention, they say, is better than cure, and it lies at the core of our public health interventions. Therefore, this conference serves as a platform to explore innovative approaches to empower communities, particularly those at higher risk, with the knowledge and tools to protect themselves from HIV infection. And that is why we feel we must start with the youth. We know the youth are quite innovative, and they are our tomorrow, they are our today, they are our future. And we expect you that after these 3 days, you'll be ambassadors of the HIV prevention mandates, just like the presenter is one of us. Stigma and discrimination remain a significant barrier to achieving our goals. Therefore, we must educate and sensitize people about the harmful effects of stigma and discrimination against individuals living with HIV/AIDS. Our strategies must be inclusive, person-centered, and sensitive to the needs of adolescents, young people, key population, and people living with HIV/AIDS. We must also focus on community-based intervention while promoting local ownership and sustainability of our response. In conclusion, I look forward to a very engaging session over the next 3 days as we continue to strategize to maintain HIV negative status among those negative and to ensure that people positive continue to live positively. On that note, permit me to declare this conference open. Thank you and God bless you.
You can do more than that for the Director General of NACA, Dr. Temi Tokwe Ilauri. Talk about love. Talk about it's time now for us to take goodwill messages, and we'll start with the Chairman, House Committee on AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria, Honorable Godwin Amobi Oga. A round of applause for him. Please keep it short and straight. Goodwill messages should not exceed 2 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. My name remains Honorable Godwin Amobi Oga. I represent Nigeria through the good people of Isukwato and Umunnochi Federal Constituency. I'm from Abia State, the state that have the best working governor. Let me recognize the representative of my brother Tunji Alaosa, who is very close to me and who believe that we should join hands together to fight this disease. Let me recognize my own sister, Dr. Temitope. I appreciate you. I promise you that I will give you all the necessary support. And that is why I'm here before other distinguished visitors, um, our foreign and development partners, my own brother Z, and my sister, non-governmental and civil society-based organizations here, ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin by congratulating NACA and partners for organizing this conference, which is aimed at optimizing innovative HIV prevention approaches towards achieving epidemic control, promote an equitable and inclusive human right-based approach to HIV prevention, and strategize for increased domestic funding. Please and please, if there is something we must change the narrative, is local funding. We can't keep depending on foreign aid. My sister, please, that should be one of your major things you must champion. We must look at home. Imagine if we have experience of what happened in 2020 again, what will be our hope? And I will give you the necessary support. The last budget, we managed to get about 8 billion. I promise you, with the help of God and our president, maybe we'll make it to 50 billion. The conference with the team accelerating HIV prevention to end AIDS through innovations and community engagement couldn't have come at a better time in a view of the statistics on HIV/AIDS in our country. Nigeria has an estimated 1.9 million people living with HIV and AIDS, and a target to eliminate mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS by year 2030 is still a long way off, and national coverage of prevention of mother-to-child transmission is less than 50%, leading to about 22,000 cases of mother-to-child transmission of HIV every year in Nigeria. Hence, the need to reevaluate, rethink, and re-strategize HIV prevention intervention programs is the key. For NACA to achieve her mandate, we must all ensure the increase of domestic funding, like I said earlier. Sourcing of HIV interventions, mobilizing community members for gender equality, social norms, and gender equality in the uptake of HIV prevention, treatment, and care service, particularly the prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. Support people living with and affected by HIV. Campaign against the stigmatization and discrimination of persons living with HIV and AIDS, and ensure leadership action for this, and key populations communities, among other interventions. NACA, we also need to scale up its treatment centers, which is about 100. I think we should increase it at least 300 by 2024, end of 2024. To stem the tide and sustain the fight to end HIV/AIDS as a public health threat, funding is critical. An estimated $8 billion is needed annually to sustain the fight against HIV/AIDS. Therefore, the House Committee on ATM means HIV is tuberculosis and malaria control. I am here to still look for the pin. And that pin is for us to help ourselves by supporting ourselves locally, both government and private sector. The ATM will continue to advocate for increase in funding to the sector and provide legislation that will promote comprehensive health care and support research and ensure access to quality treatment and strengthen partnership that are crucial to our collective success. We will double up our oversight function with a view to ensure that funds budgeted for HIV/AIDS response are used for the purpose for which they are meant for. The National Assembly, as a representative of our communities and people, will continue to provide strong leadership that will engender robust collaboration and partnership with relevant stakeholders and to achieve the forecasted goal that HIV is no longer a public health threat in Nigeria by 2030. However, we must advocate that National Assembly be carried along during programs, conceptualization, and formulation to ensure ownership and enlightenment at the community levels. We also advocate for more partnership and collaboration in attending global conferences, such as International Conference on AIDS and Sexually Transmitted Infections in Africa, ICASA, International AIDS Society Conference, and other notable AIDS conference to keep us abreast with global best practices and innovative strategies in the fight to eliminate HIV and AIDS. I believe this conference will give a new vigor and push to our fight against HIV and AIDS, thereby realizing the vision of HIV and AIDS free generation for our children, our youth, and the future. Finally, I want to convey to you the best wishes of His Excellency, my boss, the Speaker of the 10th Assembly of House of Representatives, His Excellency Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, on this wonderful occasion, wishing you fruitful and eventful conference. Long live NACA. Long live free Nigeria from HIV. Long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you and may God bless us.
He deserves more, please. Thank you, Honorable Godwin Amobi, Chairman, House Committee on HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. The next on our lineup of goodwill messages, it's the joint UN system. You will agree with me that our development partners and international organizations have done wonderfully well in being there for the country in its efforts. So on that note, that I invite to the podium the Joint UN System Nigeria Country Director, Dr. Leo Zekeng, for his goodwill message. Thank you.
Thank you, MC. Good morning. I'm Leo Zeken. I work for UNAIDS. I'm the UNAIDS country director. I want to start by recognizing Dr. David. He represents the Minister of State for Social Welfare. I want to recognize my brother. He's gone and asked to go for other assignment, the chair of the House Committee on AIDS, TB, Malaria. I want to recognize the communities for whom we work, Nepwan, Ashwan, Aping. I want to recognize DG NACA, the NC NASCAP. I want to recognize PEPFAR country coordinator, the entire Global Fund team. Also want to recognize colleagues from the UN. We have colleagues from WHO, UNICEF, UNESCO, UNFPA, and of course, UNAIDS. On behalf of the entire UN system in Nigeria, I want to congratulate the government of Nigeria for organizing such an impressive conference. The conference is very timely. We are taught in medical school that prevention is better than cure. You said it. And also the conference is timely because we have made progress. There's no doubt about that. But I want to ask you, are we satisfied by the progress that we have made as a country, as a community in reducing new HIV infections? If somebody thinks that we are satisfied, please raise your hand. Are we satisfied with the progress that we've made so far in reducing new infections? Are we? I'm hearing no. So we can't be satisfied because in 2021, we made the commitment that by 2025, we'll reduce new infections by 83%. That was a commitment that we made. But when we look at the numbers, so reducing new infection by 83% meant that by 2025, we will have had 370,000 new infections. But the data for 2022 suggests that we have 1.3 million new infections. So we can't be satisfied by that progress that did not reduce significantly the number of new infections. So for a country like Nigeria, it means the target was 22,000. But if we look at the data of 2022, we have about 74,000 new infections. The good news is when we read the HIV Global Prevention Coalition report of 2023, we have 11 countries in the world, most of them in East and Southern Africa, who have reduced new infection by at least 66%. And they are on track, so to meeting the 2025 target. So out of those 11 countries, 9 are in Eastern and Southern Africa, and then 2 are in our region, Cameroon next door and Cote d'Ivoire. It says what? It says reducing new infection is possible. Reducing new infection is doable. Elsewhere in other countries, we really need to strengthen our effort. It is doable, it is possible, because we have the tools. We know how to provide combination prevention to key population. We know how to provide combination prevention to adolescent girls and young women. We know how to provide combination prevention to adolescent boys and men. And for some of us who have been around for a while, we know how to roll out condom programming and also to scale up ARV prevention intervention. So the next question is that what is holding back? And for the interest of time, I would just mention a few things holding back. There's still a tendency of antagonizing prevention versus treatment. We need both. We need prevention and we also need treatment, because treatment as prevention alone will not take us to epidemic control. What is also holding back is the top political leadership and commitment around prevention. And in a country like Nigeria, the leadership and commitment, it's at FCT, is good that His Excellency the President has provided resources. But I would challenge all of us that we find out at the state level how much governors, so are putting in, so to address prevention. Leadership also means beyond the Ministry of Health. So we want to see who is here from education, Ministry of Women's, and so on and so forth. So really, top political leadership and commitment. What is also holding back, and then DG Naka mentioned it, funding. There's a global commitment that 25% of the resources in our program should go to prevention activities. I was looking at the data yesterday. In Nigeria, is 9%. We're only putting 9% using the 2021 data, so to intervention geared towards prevention. We're not scaling up proven intervention, so for primary prevention. Investment in condoms have reduced. Issues about capacity, even capacity at a community level to roll out, so proven intervention. Data remains a challenge. Last but not least, the legal, political environment around comprehensive sexuality education, key population programming, and so on and so forth. So all the scenarios suggest that this is the time to invest in primary prevention, not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now. I really hope we will use this conference, so to chart a new course on reducing new infections in Nigeria, in line with the health sector renewal investment initiative. Look at what is working, what are the shifts that are necessary. So from the UN, we stand ready to support government. Nigeria is an important member state to the United Nations, and we want to pledge our commitment here. Thank you so much, and then God bless Nigeria. We can end AIDS in Nigeria. Thank you.
More applause, please. You will agree with me that the UN system had done marvelously well in Nigeria's effort. So give him another round of applause, please. So next on the line of goodwill messages is the national coordinator of the network of people living with HIV and AIDS in Nigeria, Abdulkader Ibrahim. Please put your hands together for him as he makes his way to the podium. These are the drivers, and you know the importance it holds.
Thank you very much, Rabi, Abdallah. Uh, before acknowledging any other person, let me first appreciate you. During your opening, you made mention that you were a champion and ambassador, and you got tested openly. When you were announcing the result, I slightly heard you saying positive, and then you retract to mention it's negative. And I was so glad that if it were positive, then we will ensure that you join Ashwan to move the women agenda in our aid response. But notwithstanding, we congratulate you and appreciate you for all you have done over the years. Mentioning Gede Foundation around Obasanjo administration, that was long and far. Many of our youth may not really understand what we are talking about. So thank you very much, and I'm glad to acknowledge you first on this very day. The DG Naka, Dr. Temi Tope Ilori, I look at you and I was overwhelmed. And I can confidently tell you that you are loved. When you stood up here, I could feel the energy And in your presentation, you said it a lot. And I can tell you that we are here as community people to support your agenda. And we will ensure that government policies and strategies are followed to achieve the desired goal in terms of ending AIDS in Nigeria. You have already said the protocol, so permit me, I will not be able to recognize anybody, but I will greet you all. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. I remain Abdul Qadir Ibrahim. It is a pleasure and privilege to be here with you today on this HIV prevention conference. I don't have much to say, but just to remind us from where we are coming from and where we are and where we are going. I had a lot of figures. In a public setting like this, sometimes I don't like mentioning figures because people have different sources. And that is the challenge that Leo mentioned. We have problems in our data management. The NAI survey has been conducted, but a lot of things have happened since 2018. And currently today, we have about 1.7 million people who are receiving treatment. This is direct from the dashboard of NASCAP. And I think if we want to have a figure on our data regarding treatment, then the Ministry of Health should be consulted. Am I communicating? Am I communicating? Good. I have a reason of saying this because we are in a situation where we need to work together and to also remind our government and our partners on what to do. And believe me, if we work together, we will achieve our goal. I'm glad that we have a new DG of NACA. When we had the initial announcement, Leo will bear me witness, we were worried that NACA will be collapsed because they were to merge with what? NCDC. I don't know if NCDC are here, but I can tell you that they don't have the capacity to manage the AIDS epidemic in Nigeria because we have not seen their visibility in our AIDS response. So collapsing NACA to be part of them is going to be a setback. For us as community, we have our reasons. But Alhamdulillah, about weeks after, we got the announcement that we have a new DG and who was a woman. And our community was so happy. Ashwan felt so glad that we're having the first female DG in NACA. And we are confident that issues around PMTCT and prevention activities will get the desired result. Ma, I want to advise. You are not a new person in this setting. And from the president announcement that the agency is now under the Federal Ministry of Health. We have another department in the ministry that manage treatments. I will quote Leo again because he's UNIT, because whatever they said, stand. He said, our prevention rate is at 9%, and we're expected to achieve what? At 25. So that shows we are doing poor as a country. We need to tell ourselves the truth. We are the communities, we are people living with HIV, and we want everybody to be prevented, and we want to control the AIDS in our country. The advice I will give, and for you to be successful on this journey, and we will be at the back to support you, focus on prevention and what? Resource mobilization. That is the original concept of NACA. Don't follow the money. The Honorable Chair of the ATM made mention of what? About 11 billion. Out of 8 billion, sorry, how much was put on prevention activities? For me, we have an opportunity. You will be operating with the ministers. Let NASCAP focus on the treatment aspect. Those facilities and what have you, let them manage. Let's focus on the prevention. Those new innovations are out there, and I know if we focused on this, the image and the role of NACA will be more pronounced under your administration. And I'm pretty sure our partners, especially the Global Fund, even though I have to query this conference, Global Fund was not really pronounced very well in these processes, but I will take it as an oversight. Maybe I don't have much information about it. PAFA, thank you for supporting over 150 young groups to be part of this event. It is highly appreciated. We are most grateful. So on behalf of our team in youth, uh, we appreciate you and thank you for that support. Finally, as part of our effort in driving the community-led responses, through the youth, we engage with support from the Global Fund. Through IHVN, we have engaged 3 youth-led organizations. EPIN, which is the arm of NEP1. We also have NINETA and AVA. They are spread across 2 states. We want to start small, but we are going to deploy some of these strategies to ensure that the prevention activities are being promoted and ensure that our youth population have adequate knowledge and empowered with the knowledge they need to prevent themselves from HIV and other STIs transmission. And finally, I want to also touch base on condom messaging and programming. We also need to pay attention both on the male and female condoms, especially now that we have a lot to do in terms of PMTCT program. It's not only about the youth, but even the women need to have access to these condoms, especially the female condoms, because we just got a new partnership who are willing to work with us. So we can do a lot of demand creation using our women. So on this note, I want to thank you all and appreciate the organizers of this event. And thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you, Ms. Abdulkader Ibrahim, National Coordinator, NAP1. And I'm humbled by your compliments and appreciation. I'll continue to do my best within my little space. Thank you so much. Next on our line of goodwill messages, it's the National Coordinator of the Association of Positive Youth in Nigeria, APN, Aaron Sunday. A round of applause for him, please. Aaron Sunday. I read your story. Wow, what were they treating you for? You never knew until one day, right?
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I've read your story.
Oh, that was a story from PEFA in conjunction with maybe Netflix to amplify the voices of young people with HIV in Nigeria. It will be coming out shortly, maybe at the 8th conference in Germany. Thank you for that. Good afternoon, esteemed guests. Oh, sorry, still morning. Esteemed guests, Honorable House Committee. I can't find him here again. And our mommy, and my special daddies and mommy, especially Abdul Kadir and Mama Esther. I'm standing in for my national coordinator here on Sunday, who could not unavoidably be absent. And first of all, my gratitude goes to all the stakeholders here. I call them dedicated stakeholders. They are indeed dedicated. The esteemed guests and my fellow young people. Before I even start, I want us to look at the room, look at how the beautiful young people here, on behalf of all of them, we are grateful for the good work we're doing. First of all, with PEFA for filling this room. I call it filling because they brought 150 of us across the country to participate in this conference. Let's give them a round of applause. So I will start by iterating the fact that all of us here, we are the future of this nation. And we have our evolving needs.
I will start by begging all the stakeholders here to work together with all young people, understand and address the evolving needs of young people living with HIV. A lot of us, a lot is done for young people, but stigma still poses a great threat to the response in the country. We have a lot of young people coming down with mental health issues. And over time, thank God we've passed the phase of when they say mental health does not have the priority, but now we are getting more priority. And I also want to inform you with the good work we're doing at APIN, especially with the scorecard by the pact with support by UNAID, where we did the assessments of the needs of young people. We had to do the course across care and support, treatment, prevention of HIV, and although we've familiarized the results of the scorecard with our stakeholders, but we're still calling for the adoption of those scorecards because they truly speak for the young people. They are done for the young people and by the young people. So on these notes, I won't really want to take so much of our time because the national coordinator, which is Abdul Kadri, he has said so much. He has been a very good support figure to most of the young people. A round of applause for him. He, he has been a good role model to all of us. He has been supporting. I've seen a lot of my mommies and daddies from Naka too. They've been quite very supportive. So before leaving here, I will still for the continuous support. We have spaces where young people are extremely needed. We want you to help us amplify their voice. We are all coming up. A lot of us, they are still like trying to get things on our own. We recognize the fact that most of the NACA TWGs and NASCAR TWGs, they are identifying young people to be part of it, which is bringing up so many good results. We also need more participation. We are indeed grateful for the ones that we have. We want you to increase the numbers. I remember when we were in Casa in Zimbabwe, Dr. Lyotu was there. We saw what young people did at the conference. I'm sure everybody in Zimbabwe was so sure that young people from Nigeria came with the full force. So while I'm rounding up, I also familiarize us with the fact that we are young people. We are the future of this country. We need your support to thrive. And with your absolute support, young people, you can go further than you think. And also, I want to expatiate on the essence of education for young people. Let me steal a stanza from University of Ibadan Anthem. A mind that knows, it's a mind that is free. I want you to educate us. Let's bring up good project like the PEEP that was coming. I know it's still coming. I can see Dr. Fumi. We need education to help all of us. We are approaching marriages. We are approaching different life-changing decisions. We need those education to help us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aaron Sunday, National Coordinator, APIN. Can we have the Ashwa National Coordinator, Mrs. Esther Hindi, for her own goodwill message? Ashwan is the umbrella body for women living with HIV in Nigeria, and I must say you're doing a good job. Well done.
Thank you, Ravi. A very good morning to you all. And you permit me to stand on the existing protocol that has already been established. But I want to sincerely once again. We are glad. And just like Abdul said, he can see the energy, the excitement, and the passion in you. And we know that this is not the first time you are engaging in HIV response. You are one time a commissioner in your state, and you have done a lot of things. And I believe that will do more. So I'm really excited because another great thing that is happening is that we have two powerful women in two powerful organizations that are leading the response, PEFA and NACA. So I believe women, we are on the safe side, and I believe that more is coming for the women with Fumi and our mommy, Dr. Temitope. I know that women living with HIV and AIDS, our story will change for the better. I'm not saying that the other partners and men are not supporting us. But when women are on the driver's side, the voice of women will be amplified. Thank you very much, Rabi, for advocating for women. I'm happy when you're talking about this and when you say that we should mobilize support. Even though you are not, Adbuli say would know, we are still recruiting you as a voice for Ashwa. So we'll work together. We will need your voice to continue in this race. So thank you very much. I'm really excited to stand before you this morning as the voice of women living with HIV and AIDS in Nigeria. Ashwan is the only association that has been and will continue to be a leading association for women living with HIV and AIDS. And it will amaze you to know this year, 2024, Ashwan is marking 10 years of creation. So, and having a mother, leading US government leading coordinating as a female, I know this 20 years will mark a remarkable event for us, going down the road and then achieving and how far we have gone, even in the HIV response. We need to check and evaluate how far we have gone, the achievement and where we are heading to. And so many have talked about PMTCT. One of our core desire and prayer is to end pediatric HIV, to end the transmission of mother to child, because mothers are the ones that carry the babies, and the child can only get the transmission through the mother. And if the mother is not well taken care of, she's not well empowered and educated and informed, then there is likelihood that the baby will be infected. So PMTCT is a critical point for prevention for us to stop the new infection among children so that we will not populate or increase the population of our young people in the nearest future. Because as we know, the young people that are already living with HIV, most of them or some of them are born with the virus. And today they are growing into adulthood and they are becoming young people, and tomorrow they will be also the older generation. We need to put an end to it if we can. So I want to indulge us that even as we are also looking at the young people, we should not forget the mothers who are the custodians of the young people. We should share, and we are in the era of inclusivity. Let there be inclusion. Let there be meaningful engagement, especially with women. And Ashwan is open for collaboration, for capacity strengthening, for partnership. We are available. We are in all the 36 states. So, as you are taking your tour through the nation, going to state, please engage with Ashwan at the state level. They are there to welcome you, receive you, and you hear from them, because the real infection and everything is happening at the state level, at the community level, and that's where the women are. So we need to get engaged with the community to understand our plight, so that then one of the major things that also you need to look is empowering these women, because when the woman is empowered, then the nation is empowered. So please look into it also. Thank you very much. I wish us a happy deliberation and God bless us all.
I wish I could allocate more time to Ashwad for obvious reasons, but time is so fast spent and we need to make progress. Next on the lineup for goodwill messages is the Key Population Secretariat, and I would like to invite Fine Ekejuba for his goodwill messages. Key Population Secretariat, please. A round of applause for her. Please limit your goodwill messages to 2 minutes so we could cover what is left of time effectively. Thank you. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Health, the DG NACA, congratulations, ma. The PEPFAR team, the Global Fund team, the CCM, the youth at large, and my community members. Greetings from the Nigeria Key Population Health and Right Network. We join our voices with other stakeholders and speakers on innovative ways on HIV prevention. Putting community at the center and leveraging on science for innovative ways of HIV prevention. Also, addressing the legal environment to increase service uptake, as well as accelerate processes of achieving epidemic control come 2030. I remain Ekejuba Fine. I'm representing the NSC from the Nigerian Sex Workers Association. Thank you very much.
Were you surprised? This is obviously the shortest goodwill messages, and I hope others come in after how we'll key in. Thank you so much for being brave. Next on the line of our goodwill messages is the representative of the country coordinating mechanism for Global Fund, my brother, my friend, Mr. Tajuddin. A round of applause for him, please. Please, 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and permit me to ride on the already established protocol. However, you will also allow me to recognize the leadership of CCM Nigeria, ably represented by the second vice chair, Dr. Akin Fajola. Why do I have to do that? CCM is representing all of us. That's the only organization that brings everybody together. Government, civil society, communities, and private sector. On behalf of the leadership of CCM, I bring the best of greetings. More importantly, to the organizer of this HIV Youth Conference. In addition to that, we recognize the fact that the youths living with HIV/AIDS have provided opportunity for all of us to know that there is hope. In recognizing the burden of HIV/AIDS and accept to live with it positively. Nigeria has made significant progress, no doubt. But we need to recognize the fact that youths and each and every one of us need to play significant roles when it comes to HIV response. And for the CCM Nigeria, recognizing the importance of youth and the roles the youth need to play, there is a dedicated seat for the youth on the CCM composition. This is an innovation that I think all of us should recognize and then adapt. Also, youth on the CCM is the only constituency that is represented on both the Resource Mobilization Committee, that is the body that is responsible for development of funding requests, concept notes, reprogramming of resources to achieve better results, as well as the committee that is overseeing the grant implementation, which is oversight. And we have the leadership of oversight committee seated here, Fumi Adesanya. Congratulations once again. On that note, I want to use this medium to inform us that the new infection is reducing. And for that, CCM, thinking ahead of this conference, decided to arrange a better way to implement GC7. The GC7 provided opportunity for each and every one of us to play significant roles.
And this is what we need to amplify and recognize so that we will achieve better results. We've created opportunity for services to be readily available at both facility as well as community level. This is the only way we can both achieve better results. And we must recognize the fact that all stakeholders need to be engaged in the response. On that note, I want to give each and every one of us an assignment. And I will say, please join me to say, togetherness, we win. Thank you.
Thank you, CCM. It's now time for us to take the goodwill message of the chairman of SACA, that's a state agency for control of AIDS in Nigeria, for his goodwill messages. A round of applause for him, please. Aren't you appreciative of what the states are doing? Okay.
The Honorable Minister, ably represented, DG Naka, my sister, my good friend, Coordinator NASCA, Dr. Bashar. Let me use Dr. Zeken as the point of contact to all partners, the NEPAN coordinator, as well as the ASHON coordinator, CCM, greatest Nigerian youth, Victoria, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let us appreciate NACA first. Let's give NACA a round of applause. That's too small for NACA. You know the reason why I'm saying we should clap for NACA? Because Dr. James, since we had the NACA SACA meeting, he has not greeted me. If you know, you know. Even when we met here, he greeted me from afar. I said, if you know, you know. I convey the goodwill of all the 36+1 chief executive officers of SACAs at the state level. The theme of this conference is timely, prevention, HIV prevention. And we liken it to a gentleman who have a well-furnished apartment and you went to work. He left the tap open and water came. When he came back at 4, everywhere flooded. There are 3 things you can do. It's either you become confused or you do nothing. Allow the new infections to continue to come in. Or you mop the floor and still leave the tap running. Put everybody on treatment and hoping that you end the epidemic. And the third one is what? You close the tap and do what? And mop the floor. Every one of us cannot queue up in what? In treatment. And we're saying, in moving forward, that we want to be at the center of this at the state level. The truth is, every year,